In this particular segment, we are going to learn two new theorems, which are the remainder theorem and the factor theorem. Let us take the remainder theorem. The remainder theorem states that if a polynomial f of x is divided by a linear divisor, that is x minus a, then the remainder is given by f of a. Okay, so here let's understand the different components of this particular statement. So first of all, we have a polynomial. Over here we have considered the polynomial to be f of x, right? So f is just a label. So f of x basically means this is a polynomial in variable x, and the highest power of x in this polynomial is called the degree. So the highest power of x is called the degree of this polynomial. Now when this particular polynomial is divided by a linear divisor, so if you notice the remainder theorem, so let's write some points to notice over here. So if you notice the divisor is a linear expression, right, or a linear polynomial. So x minus a, second thing I should notice is the coefficient of x is 1, right? That is another thing that I noticed in the divisor. So the coefficient of x is 1 in the divisor. So the remainder factor theorem is applicable only for linear divisors. Of course, you can scale up the theorem for higher powers of divisors also. But in this video, we are going to take care of only the linear divisors. So if the divisor is a linear divisor of the form x minus a, then the remainder is given by f of a. So let me just write a few examples here. If f of x is divided by x minus 1, now let's compare x minus 1 with x minus a. So you will notice that the value of a is actually 1. Then the remainder is given by f of 1. So what we have done is, in place of x we are substituting 1. Similarly, if there's another polynomial g of x, so if g of x is divided by say x minus 2, then the remainder is going to be, so let us compare x minus a with x minus 2. You will notice that a is actually equal to 2. Then the remainder is given by f of 2. G of 2, right? We have taken the polynomial as g, so the remainder should be g of 2. That's correct. Let's take another polynomial. If h of x, that's another polynomial, is divided by say x plus 1, then the remainder is given by, so now let's compare x plus 1, let's compare x plus 1 versus x minus a. So if you carefully notice, x and x match, but minus a is equal to plus 1, which in turn means that a is equal to minus 1. The other way of understanding this would be x plus 1 can be written as x minus of minus 1, and that is why the value of a matches to minus 1. So if h of x is divided by x plus 1, then the remainder is going to be h of minus 1. Similarly, if I take another polynomial p of x, if p of x is divided by x plus half, then the remainder is going to be, so let's compare x plus half with x minus a. So if you carefully notice, minus a is equal to half, which means a is minus half, and therefore the remainder will be p of minus half. So what this theorem is doing is, instead of using the traditional long division method for finding the remainder, we can simply use an algebraic way, or rather just a substitution of the variable is sufficient to calculate the remainder. That is what this theorem is doing for us. So things that we notice here are divisor should be a linear expression, then coefficient of x should be 1 in the divisor, and this particular theorem gives only remainder, but it does not give the quotient, does not provide the quotient. Right? So these are a few points that we should notice about the remainder theorem. And now we will go ahead and prove this particular theorem. We will see why this theorem works the way we have mentioned it here. And then let us take a few questions. So let us assume that I have a polynomial, say f of x, okay, which is actually getting divided by x minus a, Of course, on division, I would expect some quotient, which is say q of x. Q here stands for the quotient. And of course, I'm going to get some remainder, right? So let the remainder be r. And of course, because the divisor is a linear polynomial, the remainder is going to be a constant, because according to the division algorithm, we know that the degree of the remainder is 1 less than the degree of the divisor. The degree of the divisor over here is 1, which is why the degree of the remainder will be 0, which means that it is going to be a constant. Now I know that I can use the relation dividend is equal to divisor multiplied by the quotient, and I should add remainder to it, right? So this is the relation that we know exists between all the four quantities. So in this example, f of x forms my dividend, and x minus a is going to form my divisor, right? So based on this, I can rewrite this relation as dividend, which is f of x, is equal to divisor. What is the divisor? The divisor is x minus a times the quotient. Quotient is some q of x. Again, it's some polynomial in x, plus the remainder. The remainder is r. So now what I want to do is, I want to find an easy way to calculate my remainder. So one thing comes to my mind is, if I want to find the remainder, then the second term over here, so let me just box that term. This term over here should vanish, right? So what should happen is x minus a times q of x should vanish. For this term to vanish, is there a substitution of a of x that I can make? Now, of course, q of x is not going to be 0. So when I say that this term has to vanish, somehow this term has to become 0. Now, quotient is not 0. So is there a way by which I can make x minus a equal to 0? And the answer is yes. I can simply substitute. The value of x. As a. So what it means is, I have f of x equal to x minus a times q of x plus the remainder. Now what I'm going to do is, in place of x, I'm going to substitute a everywhere. Okay, so that if I substitute x as a on the right hand side, I will have to substitute it as a on the left hand side also, right? That is the golden rule of equations. Whatever operation you do on one side, you will have to repeat the same operation on the other side. So I'm substituting x as a on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. Okay. Now if you notice, let's see what happens. The left hand side is f of a and the right hand side is a minus a is 0. So this is 0 multiplied by q of a plus r. Now 0 multiplied by the quotient becomes 0, which means f of a is equal to r. Therefore, the remainder, I can say the remainder is equal to f of a. So let's take the theorem again over here. Here we have if f of x, so here f of x was divided by x minus a, then the remainder that we obtained, was f of a. Now there are some typical questions like we substituted x as a over here, but how do we know that x is exactly equal to a? Of course, we do not know if x is equal to a, but if we want to separate out the remainder from the other terms, then substituting x as a actually makes a lot of sense because this particular box term just vanishes. And moreover, you will notice that r is independent of x. So r really does not depend on x. Substituting x as a over here actually makes this particular term vanish, which is why f of a becomes equal to r. So I will just pause for a minute so that you can take a look at the proof, and then we can continue with some questions. Okay, let us take some questions now based on remainder theorem. Okay, so let's consider these two examples. Find the remainder when p of x equals x raised to 4 minus 3x square plus 2x plus 5 is divided by x minus 1. So let us note down the dividend that is given. It is given that the dividend p of x is equal to x raised to 4 minus 3x square plus 2x plus 5, and this is being divided by x minus 1. So let us compare this divisor with x minus a. So if you actually compare, you will notice that the value of a is actually equal to 1, right? So what does the remainder theorem say? The remainder theorem says that if p of x is divided by x minus 1, then the remainder is going to be p of 1 because the value of a is 1. So if you notice, we saw that this is a is actually 1. So the remainder is p of a, and a is actually equal to 1. So what is the meaning of p of 1? See, p of x is equal to x raised to 4 minus 3x square plus 2x plus 5. And therefore, I can say that p of 1 would be, if you notice on the left hand side, what has happened is x is replaced by 1, which means the same thing has to happen on the right hand side. So it will be 1 raised to 4 minus 3 into 1 square plus 2 into 1 plus 5, which equals 1 minus 3 plus 7, and that's going to be equal to 5. Therefore, if P of x, that is given, is divided by x minus 1, the remainder is going to be 5. The remainder will be 5. Now, of course, we can confirm this using long division method. So let me work out the long division method on the right side. So let's take the dividend and let's divide it. So I have x raised to 4 minus 3x square. By the way, I don't have a x cube term. So let me add a 0x cube there. Okay. So plus 0x cube. Then I have a minus 3x square term. Then there is a plus 2x and 5. And I'm dividing this whole thing. By x minus 1. I'm dividing this by x minus 1. So let's start the division. X into x cube. So I have to eliminate x raised to 4 now. So x into x cube gives me x raised to 4. And minus 1 into x cube gives me minus x cube. Then let us again try to subtract. So I subtract the x raised to 4 term and minus x cube becomes plus x cube. So x raised to 4 minus x raised to 4 cancels. 0x cube plus x cube becomes x cube minus 3x square plus 2x plus 5. Now let's see what my quotient should be. I have x, I need x cube. So let's multiply by x square. So x into x square becomes x cube. And minus 1 into x square becomes minus x square. So now let's see what the values, how the signs will change. The signs of the second column, second row should change. So I have a negative and a positive here. This cancels. Minus 3x square plus x square becomes minus 2x square plus 2x plus 5. Now x into minus 2x will give me minus 2x square. Right, so I get the second on multiplication, x into minus 2x becomes minus 2x square and minus 1 into minus 2x becomes plus 2x. So again let us subtract now. So when I subtract, the signs of the second row will again change. So I have positive and I have negative here. So this cancels and the remainder that I get is 5. So you will notice that the long division method actually gives me the quotient. So I got the quotient also over here, as well as it gives me the remainder, but it takes quite some time to get the result. Whereas in case of the remainder theorem, I don't get the quotient. That is one drawback of the remainder theorem. However, I don't get the quotient. However, I get the remainder very easily, right? So this is one of the advantages of the remainder theorem, that I can get the remainder by just simple substitution. Let us now solve the second question. Okay, let's take up the second question now. Find the remainder when P of y equals y cube plus y square plus 2y plus 3 is divided by y plus 2. So I have P of y equals y cube plus y square plus 2y plus 3, and this is being divided by y plus 2. So I know that if P of y is divided by y plus 2, then the remainder obtained, is going to be, let's compare y plus 2 with y minus a. So you will notice that negative a is actually equal to 2 over here. Negative a is equal to positive 2, which implies a is equal to negative 2. So therefore the remainder is going to be P of a, right? And P of a, what is a over here? A is negative 2. That means the remainder is going to be P of negative 2. So P of negative 2 would mean in place of y, we have to substitute negative 2. So P of y is y cube plus y square plus 2y plus 3. Now let's find P of negative 2. P of negative 2 would be negative 2 the whole cube plus negative 2 the whole square plus 2 times negative 2 plus 3, right? Now negative 2 to the whole cube is negative 8 and negative 2 to the whole square is positive 4. 2 into minus 2 is minus 4 and then I have a positive 3. So I get minus 12 plus 7 which is equal to minus 5. Therefore, the remainder theorem tells me that the remainder is going to be minus 5. Now let me perform long division and check if my result is really true. So let's take the dividend, which is y cube plus y square plus 2y plus 3. And let us perform long division now. So let's perform long division. This is getting divided by y plus 2. So now let's start multiplying y with something to get a y cube. Y multiplied by y square gives me a y cube. And 2 multiplied by y square gives me 2y square. Now let's again subtract the two terms. So when I subtract, I get y cube minus y cube and y square minus 2y square. So y square minus 2y square becomes minus y square plus 2y plus 3. Now y into minus y gives me minus y square and 2 into minus y gives me minus 2y. And now again when I subtract, let's see what happens. So the signs of the second row will change, which means it becomes positive and positive. So minus y square plus y square cancels and 2y plus 2y becomes 4y plus 3. Now let's use y to get rid of 4y. So let's see what can be done. Y multiplied by 4 is going to give me 4y. And 2 multiplied by 4 is going to give me 8. So again, when I subtract now, I have to invert the signs of the second row. So the reason why I invert these signs is because I'm actually subtracting, and that is why the signs flip. Yeah. So 3 minus 8 becomes minus 5. So the remainder is minus 5. The quotient is y square. The quotient is y square minus y plus 4, but the remainder theorem is not going to give me the quotient. We know that. However, I get the remainder much easier as compared to the long division method. So we saw that our application of the remainder theorem was correct. And let me pause for a couple of minutes and then I'll take up the next question. Okay, let us now take the next question. So consider this question. Find the remainder when x plus 3 divides 3x cube minus 7x square plus 11x plus 1. Let's take a particular label for this particular polynomial. So let f of x be equal to 3x cube minus 7x square plus 11x plus 1. Now, according to the remainder theorem, so I'm now showing you how to write the proper solution. So, according to the remainder theorem, when f of x is divided by x plus 3, the remainder is given by now let me show you one way of finding a. So x plus 3 can be compared with x minus a, right? So again, if you notice over here, negative a is equal to 3, and therefore I can say that 3 is equal to negative a, which means a is equal to negative 3. So this is one way of finding a. Sometimes you can also equate the divisor to 0, meaning you equate x plus 3 equal to 0 and you will get x equal to minus 3, right? So this is another way of finding the value of a. So in this case, a is equal to minus 3. So the remainder is going to be given by f of minus 3. Basically it is f of a. So now let us find f of minus 3. I know that f of x equals 3x cubed minus 7x square plus 11x plus 1. So if I wish to find f of minus 3, what I should be doing is, I should substitute x as negative 3, right? That is what I see over here. So x has to be substituted by negative 3. So this becomes 3 times negative 3 the whole cube minus 7 times negative 3 the whole square plus 11 times negative 3 plus 1. So let's evaluate this value now. This is 3 times negative 3 the whole cube is negative 27 minus 7 times negative 3 the whole square is positive 9 plus 11 times negative 3 is negative 33. Please be very careful with your signs. So this becomes negative 81, negative 63, then I have negative 33 and positive 1. So if you evaluate this, this comes out to be 1 minus 176. Therefore, the value of f of minus 3 is minus 176. And so I can say that when the given f of x is divided by x plus 3, then the remainder obtained is negative 176. So let me again pause this particular section for a couple of minutes and then I'll take up the next question. Okay, let us take up the next question now. Okay, let us now consider this question. Using remainder theorem, find the remainder when x cube plus 3x square plus 5x minus 11 is divided by 2x minus 3. Now, if you all remember the remainder theorem, let us state the remainder theorem one more time over here. So this was the remainder theorem. If f of x was divided by x minus a, the remainder was f of a. Please note that the coefficient of x in the divisor was 1. Now that's not happening over here, right? So I have the divisor as 2x minus 3 here. The coefficient of x is not 1, it is 2. So if I want to find the value of a, what I will do is, let me equate 2x minus 3 to 0. Again, there are two ways of doing it. Either you equate 2x minus 3 to 0. That's one way. The other method is you take the 2 out of the divisor as common. So it becomes 2 times x minus 3 upon 2, right? This is the second way of looking at it. And now whatever you have inside the bracket, look at that term. The coefficient of x is indeed 1. So now if you are talking about x minus a, the value of a is now 3 by 2, right? In the first method, I have equated 2x minus 3 to 0, which means 2x is equal to 3 or x is equal to 3 by 2. So using either of the two methods, you get the value of a as 3 by 2. And therefore, let us write our dividend as well as the value of a. So it's given that f of x is equal to x cube plus 3x square plus 5x minus 11, and this is being divided by 2x minus 3. So if f of x is divided by 2x minus 3, then we know that the remainder is going to be f of a the value of a that I have got here is 3 by 2, right? So it is going to be f of 3 by 2. So now let us calculate f of 3 by 2. Let us note down our f of x here. F of x is x cube plus 3x square plus 5x minus 11, and therefore f of 3 by 2 is given by 3 by 2 the whole cube plus 3 times 3 by 2 the whole square plus 5 times 3 by 2 minus 11. So let us compute this now. 3 cube is 27, 2 cube is 8, so this is 27 by 8, plus 3 square is 9, 9 3s are 27 again, and 2 square is 4, plus 15 by 2 minus 11. So now I can take the LCM in this particular problem. The LCM is 8. So this remains 27. The second term has a denominator of 4 that gets multiplied by 2. So I get plus 54. Then this 2 is getting multiplied by 4. So 15 multiplied by 4 is 60. Minus 11 8s are 88. So this becomes 81 plus 60 minus 88, the whole divided by 8. And therefore this becomes negative 7 plus 60, which is 53 upon 8. Therefore the remainder is going to be 53 upon 8. So one unique thing that I noticed about this particular question was that the divisor's coefficient of x was not 1. So what I did was I made it 1 by either equating it to 0 or by taking 2 out as common. So let me again pause for a minute, and then I'll take up the next question. Okay, let us take up the next question now. So let's see this question. Find the remainder when f of x equals 3x cube plus 5x square minus 11x plus 4 is divided by 3x plus 1. So it's given that the polynomial is f of x equals 3x cube plus 5x square minus 11x plus 4, and this f of x is getting divided by 3x plus 1. So according to the remainder theorem, when f of x is divided by 3x plus 1, the remainder equals, so now I need to find my a, right? Again, you will notice that in this question also, the coefficient of x is not 1. So again, there are two ways of finding the value of a. Either you equate 3x plus 1 to 0. So if 3x plus 1 is 0, 3x will be minus 1, or x will be minus 1 by 3. That means my value of a is negative 1 by 3. That's one way of finding it. And the other way would be, I have 3x plus 1. Let's take 3 out as common. So when 3 is taken out as common, it becomes x plus 1 upon 3. And let's keep the 3 out as common. So this becomes x minus of minus 1 by 3. So now if you notice the value of a, okay, so the term within the bracket has a coefficient of x as 1. So x minus a, if you compare this with x minus a now, let's see what is the value of a. So if you compare this with x minus a, the value of a actually is negative 1 by 3. Therefore, the remainder is f of negative 1 by 3. So I have got the value of a now. So now I need to find my remainder. Let us take the value of f of x. F of x is equal to 3x cube plus 5x square, negative 11x plus 4, and therefore f of negative 1 by 3 would be 3 times negative 1 by 3 the whole cube plus 5 times negative 1 by 3 the whole square, negative 11 times negative 1 by 3 plus 4. So this becomes 3 times negative 1 by 3 the whole cube is negative 1 by 3 cube is 27 plus 5 times negative 1 by 3 the whole square is 1 by 9. Then I have negative 11 into negative 1 by 3 becomes positive 11 by 3 plus 4. Now some cancellations are possible. 3 and 27 cancel by 3. So this becomes negative 1 by 9 plus 5 by 9 plus 11 by 3 plus 4. So negative 1 plus 5 is 4 by 9. So this becomes 4 by 9 plus 11 by 3 plus 4. And now you can find the complete LCM. The LCM is 9. So it is 4 plus 33, that's 37. And 37 plus 36 is 73. So the remainder comes out to be 73 upon 9. So in this question also we noticed how to deal with the value of a when the coefficient of x is not 1 in the divisor. Let me again let us consider this question now. If x cube plus 3x square minus kx plus 6 is divided by x minus 2, the remainder is k. Find the value of k. So let's see what is given to us now. It's the dividend is given. So f of x is x cube plus 3x square minus kx plus 6, and this dividend f of x is divided by x minus 2. So I know that when f of x is divided by x minus 2, then according to the remainder theorem, the remainder is going to be, so I have the divisor is x minus 2, so therefore a is equal to 2. So if you compare x minus 2 with x minus a, I get the value of a is 2. So the remainder is going to be f of 2. It's given to me that the remainder is actually k. So what this means is, the remainder theorem is telling me that the remainder is f of 2. And in the question it is given that the remainder is actually k. That means f of 2 should be equal to k. This is according to the given condition, right? So if you notice over here, according to the remainder theorem, the remainder is f of 2, and according to the question, the remainder is k, which means that f of 2 must be equal to k. So let us find f of 2 now. I know how to find f of 2. My f of x is x cube plus 3x square minus kx plus 6. So if I want to find f of 2, I can simply substitute x as 2. So it becomes 2 cube plus 3 times 2 square minus k times 2 plus 6. So 2 cube is 8 and this is 8 plus 12 minus 2k plus 6. So this becomes 26 minus 2k, right? So this is the remainder. So I have f of 2. F of 2 is 26 minus 2k. So I can say 26 minus 2k is equal to k, which means 26 is equal to 3k, or k is equal to 26 divided by 3. This is how we find the value of k. So what I noticed in this question was, when the remainder is given, I can definitely equate it to the remainder, that the remainder theorem. Okay, let's consider these two questions now. Find the remainder when p of x equals x cube minus ax square plus 6x minus a is divided by x minus a. And next question reads, find the remainder when 4x cube minus 12x square plus 14x minus 3 is divided by x minus half. So I know that if p of x, so given to me is p of x, the dividend is given, p of x is x cube minus ax square plus 6x minus a, and this is getting divided by x minus a. So I know according to the remainder theorem, I know that if p of x is getting divided by x minus a, then the remainder, so over here you will notice that there is no constant value for a remains a over here, if you notice very carefully, right? X minus a remains x minus a. So the value of a is a in this particular problem. Therefore, the remainder is p of a. So if I wish to find p of a, what I need to do is, let me first list down my p of x. So p of x is x cube minus ax square plus 6x minus a. What I need to do for p of a is, in place of x, I need to substitute a, right? So what it means is, I will get a cube minus a into a square plus 6 times a minus a. Now this becomes a cube minus a cube plus 6a minus a. A cube minus a cube cancels and 6a minus a becomes 5a. Therefore, the remainder is 5a. You will notice that because the value of a was not a constant, when we substituted a in place of x in the given dividend, a cube cancelled, but the value of a remained as is. Therefore, the remainder in this case is 5a. Let us now consider the next question. The given polynomial is p of x equals 4x cube minus 12x square plus 14x minus 3. Now this p of x is divided by x minus half then I know that according to the remainder theorem, the remainder will be P of half, right? Now, how did I conclude that? So if I take the divisor, it is x minus half. So if I compare this with x minus a, the value of a becomes half. Or alternately, I can equate x minus half to 0, the divisor to 0, and therefore I get x equal to half, and this is my a, right? So now I need to find p of half. I know that p of x equals 4x cubed minus 12x square plus 14x minus 3, and therefore the value of p of half is going to be 4 times half cube, half the whole cube, minus 12 times half the whole square, plus 14 times half minus 3. Now half the whole cube is 1 by 8. So this is 4 times 1 by 8 minus 12 times 1 by 4. 14 into half is 7 minus 3. So 4 times 1 by 8 is half. Minus 12 into 1/4 is minus 3 plus 7 minus 3, and therefore the answer is 1.5 or 1.5. Therefore the remainder is equal to either you can write it as 1.5 or 1.5, or I can also write it as 3 by 2. So this is how we can solve questions on the remainder theorem. Okay, so I hope you understood the application of the remainder theorem in this video, and we will solve a few more problems in the